For more on the remembrance of Queen Elizabeth II, I'm joined live from the Parliament building in Edinburgh, Scotland, by Associated Press correspondent Philip Crowther. Hello, Philip. Please describe to us the scene where you are.
Well, you can see behind me the gates leading to the Palace of Holyrood House. This is the official residence for the British monarchy here in Scotland, and it is from here that the casket carrying Queen Elizabeth II departed up the Royal Mile for that procession to St Giles's Cathedral, where the coffin is now and where Queen Elizabeth II now is resting, for people to be able to pay their final respects to her inside that cathedral here in the Scottish capital. Most of her children also spent the night here, with the very notable exception of King Charles III, who arrived here a few hours ago to then proceed behind the hearse carrying the coffin of Queen Elizabeth II up the Royal Mile and toward the cathedral. He is someone who people here have come to see. At the same time, they want to pay their last respects to the Queen. I spent a few hours with people here who were waiting a long time to see this procession pass, just for a few seconds. And it's a very good mood here in Edinburgh generally. You don't see all too many tears, but things get very serious and very somber when that hearse does drive by. It gives people the possibility to think back to, in most of their cases, their whole lifetimes, during which they only had one queen, one monarch here in the United Kingdom. It is also, though, a possibility for the people here of Edinburgh and of Scotland to welcome the new king. Should be a moment of celebration, at least in part. So you have a certain dichotomy here of feelings, if you will. And a lot of these events, of course, are happening here in Scotland early on during this mourning period, because Queen Elizabeth II died in Balmoral, her summer residence here in Scotland, and a place she loved so much, in a country she loved so much as well. And what we've seen here today has very much been a reciprocal feeling from the Scottish people who did come out here today to pay their final respects.
And Philip, do we know how long the Queen's casket will remain in Edinburgh?
Well, there's now a period that begins of 24 hours during which people can queue for a very long time outside of St Giles's Cathedral here to be able to see that casket. Not photograph it, by the way, just see it and pay their final respects. There will be a lot of people who will want to do that, despite the fact that pretty much everybody was somewhat prepared for the death of the Queen, simply because of her age, having passed now at the age of 96. There is still a bit of a feeling of shock here among the British people that they are now without the Queen that they have known for 70 years. And one way of saying goodbye is, of course, seeing that coffin in person. We will see those scenes that we will see here in Edinburgh over the next 24 hours, repeated somewhat in London as well, when Queen Elizabeth II will lie in state inside of the Houses of Parliament in Westminster. The state funeral, of course, will be taking place on Monday, and that will be the last possibility for people to see the coffin that will be carrying Queen Elizabeth II in the streets of London, just as we saw happen here today in the capital of Scotland.
Right. Philip, thank you so much. That was Associated Press correspondent Philip Crowther speaking with us from Edinburgh, Scotland.